In today's video I'm going to show you the Tsakalis Audioworks Mothership Preamp. This is a super versatile analog tube preamp featuring two 12AX7 preamp tubes, two independent channels, each with 3 different gain stages and 2 separate gain and volume controls, giving you a total of 4 switchable sounds. On top of that, it offers plenty of options for how you can integrate it into your rig. You can run it in front of your amp or into another preamp. You can go straight into the power amp section of your amplifier or use it as an all-in-one solution with the built-in cabinet simulations, which can be customized via the software on your computer. In this video I will walk you through the controls, showing you how the pedal sounds going into the power amp section of my PV Classic 20, and I will also demo the direct tones using the Mothership's built-in cabinet simulations. Alright, so when you first see this pedal, then you might think that this looks very complicated and you might get overwhelmed. So I will show you that this isn't the case. It's actually pretty intuitive and very easy to understand. So I will guide you through the controls and how all this works. So first of all, as I mentioned before, this pedal has 2 channels, and the top line of controls is 1 channel and the bottom line is another channel. You can see it here, channel 1, channel 2. And with this foot switch, you can switch between those channels. This foot switch is to turn the pedal on and off. So this is on, and now we're on channel 2, channel 1. But we will focus now just on 1 channel. Later we will get into the second channel and how to use them both in a useful way. But just to make it easier at the beginning, we will stay at 1 channel. Okay, and the layout, as you see, is very straightforward. Like if we look here, we have a presence control, treble, mid and bass, like standard EQ amp controls. And then we have 2 gain controls, gain B, gain A, and we also have 2 volume controls, B and A. And this means we can have on each channel, in this case channel 1, 2 gain and volume settings. And we can switch between them with the A and B switch. Okay, so you can see B is on now. Now volume B and gain B would be active. And if the LED on B is off, then that means we are using gain A and volume A. Okay, so that means within 1 channel you can set 2 individual gain/volume settings. And now we have these little switches here on the right and also on the left, but this is for later. We ignore this for now. But these ones are very important. These are the mode switches, and we can choose on each channel if we want to have a low gain sound, a mid gain sound, or a high gain sound. So this means you choose on channel 1, for example, you want to have a low gain sound. You put the switch on the left, and then you have 2 gain stages within the low gain mode. And this you can choose on every mode. So for example, you can set a low gain mode on channel 1, and then the mid or high gain mode on channel 2. And on each channel you have then within those modes 2 gain and volume stages. So this gives you 4 sounds in total. We also have the cabinet switch, and there you can simply choose between 3 cabinets for each channel. And yeah, as I said, I will show you that later. And this only works, of course, if you use it as an all-in-one pedal. That means when you go directly into an audio interface or into a PA system. But I will first show you this pedal going into the power amp section of my PV Classic 20. So this means now I will show you the connections first, so you understand how this is connected. And this pedal has quite a few options how to connect it. On the left we have the guitar input, then send return for effects loop, so you can implement time-based effects on this preamp pedal. And then very important, we have the amp output. And there's this little switch which lets you decide if you want to have power amp or preamp. And this means you can put this pedal in front of your amp, like going into the amp input, and then you set the switch to preamp. And if you want to have this as your own preamp going into a power amp, then you simply set the switch to power amp, which is really cool because this gives you more options how to implement it into your rig. The first sounds that I will show you are into the power amp, and yeah, later I will show you it as an all-in-one solution. For that you need the cabinet out, which is next to the amp out, and you use that if you go directly into your audio interface or into a PA system. And then you also have to use the cabinet switch here on the pedal, because this is then activated, of course, if you use the cabinet output. And then you can simply choose between 3 cabinets, which are saved on the pedal, 3 for each channel. And you can also connect this pedal to a computer via the USB jack. And there you can change the cabinets. And I think there are 70 different cabinet types you can choose from. And yeah, you can simply switch them how you want and save 3 of them to the pedal. And yeah, that's more than enough in my opinion. Then back to the connections, we just had the cabinet out. And then we have a MIDI input if you want to implement this into a MIDI rig. That's also possible. And of course we have the power jack. This one needs 12 volts and there's also a power supply included if you buy this pedal. And on the bottom right, of course, you have the USB jack. And as I said before, you can connect this to your computer to be able to change the cabinet simulations. All right, now let's go through some sounds. And I have this pedal now going into my power amp of the PV Classic 20. So I'm using the amp out and the switch is on power amp. And we will stay in channel 1 for now, and I will show you the different sounds going through the different gain stages. First with the telly for the more low gain sounds, and then when we use more higher gain sounds, I will switch to a guitar with humbuckers. All right, we are in channel 1 and the pedal is turned on. We are on gain and volume A because this LED is off. And on the amplifier, I have set a little bit of reverb so that the sound is not too dry. Okay, and this is how it sounds like with the low gain mode and the gain and volume and all the EQ on 12 o'clock. Yeah, this is the low gain mode, and as you can hear, you get everything from clean to like AC/DC kind of crunch, which is really cool because with the two gain stages you have, you can simply set up a low gain crunchy tone and a clean tone within that one channel. So let's say we have gain A like this. And yeah, let's do it something like this. And then set gain B a bit lower and increase the volume of B a little bit, because with lower gain you need a bit more volume to balance the difference between A and B. So let's try that. Yeah, sounds great in my opinion. So this is how I would set it up if I'm in the low gain mode. So you take one of the gain controls and set it up to a more clean sound, and one you almost crank to get a nice and crunchy sound. And then you have two very usable sounds within one channel. And you can switch between them, which is really cool. You can adjust the volumes if you have volume differences because you use lower gain. And yeah, that's how I would use the low gain mode. And let's move on to the next gain stage. But before I do that, I switch guitars. So I will show you the clean or the low gain sounds with humbuckers as well. All right, now with humbuckers. Yeah, sounds great as well. And now let's move over to the mid gain section. I will put this on 12 o'clock again, and also this, and we see how this sounds, or we will hear how this sounds. As you could hear, we have quite a big gain range within a mid-gain kind of sound. And yeah, let's set up two different settings now with the gain and volume controls. So again, I will set up a more low gain sound and a more high gain sound. Yeah, that's really nice. And what you also can do if you use the higher gain sound, you can also add a little bit of a volume boost if you want to use this as a solo sound and the B gain as a rhythm sound. So you have a little volume boost if you switch over to the solo sound. Yeah, so this is really perfect if you want to have also different volumes within two gain stages in one channel. I mean, you are in the same gain stage always within one channel, but you set up the gains differently, like a low gain sound and a higher gain sound, and then you can adjust the volumes, if you want to have a volume boost or just compensate for the amount of gain with the volume. And yeah, I think that's really cool. All right, now we go over to the high gain sounds. Yeah, let's hear how this sounds. Yeah, you got quite a lot of gain with the high gain mode. Let's set up two different gain stages within that. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as with the other modes, just that you have more gain and like a different gain structure, gain character on the high gain mode. All right, so now you could hear all the sounds with this pedal going into a power amp. Now I will connect it directly into my audio interface using the cab output and then also using the different virtual cabinets which are saved on this device. And then I will also show you how I would use the two channels, so how I would set up the gain stages and yeah, how I would use the four sounds that are possible with this pedal. Okay, now I switch the cable, putting it into the cabinet out and going directly into my audio interface. So now we will hear the virtual cabinets which are on this device. We have 3 of them on each channel. And yeah, let's hear how this sounds like. We will start in the low gain mode. This sounds really good, and you already have a lot of variety with those three pre-installed virtual cabinets. Let's go through the different gain modes. So let's go to the middle gain one. And now let's go to the high gain sounds. Yeah, sounds really good. It's a lot of fun, and you get a lot of tonal variety only by switching the cabs. So this is really nice to have this feature, you know, on board to switch between three different cabs. And yeah, I love that. And you of course have even more variety by using the software and adding different cabinets, which I will show you quickly in a minute. But now let me show you what I would do, you know, with this kind of preamp, how I would set it up. So basically, I think I would simply have what I did before, having one clean and like very low gain crunch kind of channel, something like this. Yeah, that's what I would do with channel 1, having a clean sound with gain B in this case, and then with gain A, like this AC/DC crunchy kind of sound. And on the clean, I have the volume a bit higher, so we compensate for the volume. I don't know if it's exactly the same volume, but pretty much. And then channel 2, I think probably the mid gain one would be enough for having a solo sound when I crank up the gain. Let's take gain A. Yeah, and then maybe a more mid-gainy rhythm sound with gain B. Yeah, and just a little volume boost on the gain, volume A. So with the high gain sound, I have a little volume boost for solos. So this way I have 4 gain stages, like a clean sound, a very light crunch sound, then a normal crunch sound, and then a lead sound. And of course, if you combine this with other pedals like delay pedal, reverb pedal, whatever, or also using a boost pedal in front of this, then of course you can expand those tonal options much more. But just to see how I would use the 4 sounds in this pedal. Okay, so let's go through them again. So we have clean, low gain crunch, a bit more high gain crunch. This could actually use a little bit more gain. Yeah, and then the lead sound. And depending on how much gain you want to use, on channel 2 you can also go to the high gain mode to have even more gain, for example, doing it like this. Yeah, I think you get the idea, and depending on your needs, you can like create 4 different gain stages and 2 different EQ stages as well, if you want to use different guitars or different settings. This is really helpful, and yeah, I hope you could hear what this pedal can do. And yeah, let me show you the software now quickly, so you can see how easy this works. All right, so this is the software for the Mothership pedal, which you can download on the Tsakalis Audioworks website. It's for Mac and Windows, of course, and as you can see, it's super simple. Here on the right, you can see the channel 1 cabinets, and here are the channel 2 cabinets. And as you can see, these are exactly the same on both channels. And yeah, these are the cabs that you just heard in the demo. And here on the left, you can see even more cabs, which come with the software, and you can simply move any cab from here into the pedal or onto the pedal by simply drag and drop. So that's very easy. And yeah, there's not much more that I can tell about this. As you can see, it's super self-explaining and simple. I like that. In my opinion, these softwares doesn't need to be like very fancy or whatever. I like this simple layout, and it does the job, and it's intuitive and easy to understand. That's how it should be, in my opinion. And yeah, just that you saw it, that you have a lot of different options for the built-in cabinets. All right, so that was the preamp monster called Mothership from Tsakalis Audioworks. And I think this pedal has everything you need if you are looking for a great sounding tube-based pedal preamp. The tones are fantastic. The feel is just like a real tube amp, and you've got everything covered from like clean sounds to higher gain sounds. You can set up 4 different sounds and switch between them, and you have a lot of different routing options to fit it into your rig. And even as an all-in-one solution with the built-in cabinet simulations, it sounds absolutely brilliant. I really love this pedal. I have actually nothing to complain about. Of course, it's more on the pricier side, but you have to see this more as an amplifier rather than a pedal, because this thing can actually replace your amplifier. And yeah, as I said, I really love it. As always, you will find links to the pedal and all the gear that I used in this video down in the video description. These are mostly affiliate links, so if you want to support my channel, feel free to use them. And also feel free to share your thoughts about the Mothership pedal down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you are new here, so that we can see each other in the next video.